Good morning.
Good morning.
The first thing we're going to start today is by talking about our symbol that you see, our logo. And I think that's right on your front page. And the logo, this is very meaningful to us, and I hope it is to you as well. The circle that we see there represents the Alpha and the Omega, which is no beginning and never ending. And then the white dove is a symbol of the Holy Spirit descending with universal wisdom. And the red rose is divine heart that illuminates the supreme love. The green stem of the rose is universal healing for all humanity. And the blue sky surrounding the dove is the universal consciousness. And the stars represent the cosmic light to open up the pathways. So this is very meaningful to Metaphysical Universal Ministries, as I hope it is for you. What we're going to go over our creed that we have. And the creed states this church was founded in order to teach, promote, and demonstrate metaphysical and spiritual laws. We respect the truth of all religions in order to expand awareness throughout the world, revering life for the benefit of all mankind. Our mission statement is to teach, demonstrate, and promote metaphysical and spiritual laws, both at home and throughout the world, to create an atmosphere of understanding and tolerance for all religions, belief, and forms of worship, seeking the light of creation while fully recognizing we are all brothers and sisters in the eyes of the God force. Now, we are very proud of our creed and our mission statement, and we hope all of you will be too. The principles, which I really feel that we should know our principles, because that's these are our basis. When people say to you, well, what do you believe in? Well, these are the principles that you want to present. So the principles, number one, is that we are in accordance with universal power, the Father-Mother aspect, Jesus the Christ, and all the ascended masters in teaching of truth and universal love. The second one, phenomena of all types may occur within the realms of nature, whether of spiritual or physical nature, are manifested of intelligence. Number three, religion in truth is God's natural law working in harmony with what we believe. The existence and self-personal identity and memory do continue after transitional experience of life on the earth plane, or the earth realm, Communication with living spirit is proven scientific fact by the laws of natural phenomena and paraphysical research. Father, mother law, being to others what we would be to ourselves. We are individuals that are responsible both morally and spiritually for our own life and our own happiness. Improvement and reformation of the spirit and soul are not only possible in our world, but also in the spirit world. Universal prophecy is always and will be part of the Holy Bible and many other holy manuscripts. The universal spirit is in accordance with divine wisdom, making it possible for the progression of the soul of eternal truth. In order to reach divine source, we must be still, to know, and to love ourselves. Now, do we have any problems with those principles? Do you feel that they are what is within you? Because if we follow the principles of what we believe in, and we know what we believe in, it's so much easier. It's so much easier in order to express who we are. When we talk about, someone says, well, what are you? We're metaphysicians. We're interdenominational. I like that term because interdenominational means we can absorb all. We can put our arms around everyone. And we can work with everyone. That's the whole wonderful part of being metaphysical. So I'm asking you to try to go over these every once in a while, read the principles till you get to know what we truly believe in, so that you can talk intelligently to people. This is very important. And because we're here to do our ministry, so we're going to start with our code of ethics. And our code of ethics, as you know, Mom, is based on the fatherhood and the motherhood of God, and the Christ consciousness, because that's what we all strive for. We strive for the consciousness of Jesus the Christ. And so because our ministry is public, we need to display ourselves as ministers and practitioners with integrity and compassion and belief that dignity is the worth of all human beings, that every human being has the right for us to be compassionate to be truthful to, and to be loving to. Because with our spiritual gifts, this is so important, because we're demonstrating who the ministry is, who metaphysical universal ministry is. So let us start with the first one. The Code of Ethics, as we know, embodies the behavior of the ministers, are instruments of healing. We have to take all this into consideration because we work with the public. So let us do the first one. Section 1. The principal objective of the ministry is to render service to humanity, led by Spirit and with full respect for the dignity of man. Ministers shall merit the confidence of their parishioners, their students, and their clients, rendering to each full measure of service and devotion. Now we're going to talk about that, because so often I hear someone does a type of reading, or I don't want to use counseling, but they do a reading, or they just talk to individuals, and before you know it, it's another person knowing that person's business. This is where we need not do. This is where we need to respect that privacy for that individual. If they trusted you, you should keep it within yourself. Section 2 is the minister should respect and esteem all beliefs regarding race, creed, and color. Now, as we know, unfortunately, this does happen, but as you get the higher calling for the ministry, you don't see color, you don't see race, and you don't see their creed that they live. You love the man, you give them the same spiritual love that you would give your family member. And that sometimes is very hard for people to understand, but it's a very important one. Number 3, ministers should render all services in an ethical, professional, and spiritual manner, with full respect for the dignity of man and deep regard for the welfare of the individual. Why am I saying this? Supposing someone comes to you and says, you know, I think I'm really having a problem. I don't know if I want to be here on earth anymore. Well, you've got to respect that. You've got to respect what their choices are. And we'll go into that in a full part of it. Section 4, ministers should endeavor to conduct themselves in matters affecting their church and community interests in such a manner as to benefit the community, benefit Metaphysical Universal Ministries and their own ministry. And that's very clear. Number 5, ministers shall not engage in activities that constitute the illegal practice of medicine or psychology, or knowing, mislead, or misrepresent themselves by word, deed, implication, to be other than what they legally are. Ordained ministers of Metaphysical Universal Ministries and Healing Ministers shall follow the same practice as not to prescribe or recommend any type of herb unless they have the license of a naturopathic doctor. Now, this is very, very, very important. I cannot stress this much. I can't stress this too much. Even if you see someone on your healing chair that needs to drink water, you think, you know, they're dehydrated. Your intuition tells you that. Legally, you're not allowed to tell them that. You're not allowed to tell them that they need vitamin A, vitamin B. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to tell them, hey, you need an herb, say dandelion tea. You're not allowed to do that. Why? Because you're leaving yourself open for a complete, full lawsuit. If the person is on a dialysis, they're only allowed to drink so much water a day. So they're going to look dehydrated a lot of the time. So if you tell somebody that and they go, oh, she told me and I need to drink water, you know, you could really damage them. And the same way with an herb. Supposing they're allergic to the herb, they get very sick, what's going to happen to you? They'll come right back to you and place it on you. And Metaphysical Universal Ministries, we don't want to be responsible for that. And we want you to be upholding, because you have to be what you legally are. And that's a minister that can do weddings. You can do any other ceremonies that you wish to, but weddings is the only legal one that we really have to be legal for. Anybody can be at a funeral, anybody can do a baptism. And but you have to have a doctor's license to prescribe. So that's very important. I can't stress that enough. And number 6, ministers shall forever hold in complete confidence any or all information entrusted to them by any person seeking their help, until such a time that permission to divulge such information is clearly given by that person. So if you want to use an example of an individual, if you're doing a lecture, if you want to use an example of that individual on how to help another person, that person has to give you permission. Absolutely. Also, not only that, but suppose you make an example like, well, you know, Tom did this, and Tom, whatever the other person might have, it could be in just by one-to-one also. But the worst thing you can do from this podium, or any podium in church, is call somebody out in that congregation. I'll tell you what, when you do that, do you know what? What do you think when you see that? You know, it makes me disgusted. Because no, they didn't have permission. And that permission to use that individual's name. So we have to be we got to be professional. You're professionals. You're going to be professionals. And we got to act professional. Because right away, people judge you by your words and how you act and what they see. It's the first thing. Sight is everything before the hearing. How many people agree? Absolutely. So then we're on section 7. Ministers shall constantly strive to improve their knowledge, their skills, and their spiritual relationship with God in order to keep abreast of universal changes. Now what does that mean? That means you have to continue to study. And there's a lot of things out there that you want to say, oh, I really think that would be important for me to know and to share and so forth. And some people, when they just stop. They think,